Some depressing news out of Amazon this morning with them announcing they're going to be raising your FBA fees with a 5% fuel surcharge, which goes into effect later this month. Here's the exact notice. My name is Stephen Pope. I'm the founder of My Amazon Guy, and we cover Amazon news frequently on the channel. Hit that subscribe button. The fuel and inflation surcharge starts on April 28th. And starting then, it's going to be a 5% fuel and inflation surcharge, which will be applied to US FBA fulfillment fees. The surcharge will apply to all product types, such as non-apparel, apparel, dangerous goods, small and light items. And the surcharge will apply to all units shipped from fulfillment centers starting April 28th. And they even say it's subject to change. That is code for we're going to raise it again. And that's because right now, the government says the inflation rate's somewhere around 7 to 9%. Whatever the government says, triple it. The real inflation rate right now is off the charts. And everybody knows this if you're an Amazon seller. You've seen your fees go up. Over the last couple of years, you've seen fuel costs go up more than 2x. You've seen your fulfillment fees from Amazon go up every year. You've seen your COGS go up from China. And you've seen your ability to ship logistically through the supply chain has also been dramatically affected. And so how do you navigate all of these additional things? Well, bottom line, raise your prices. When you're facing a major inflation situation, it's never a good thing. But there's only one thing that you can control, and that is the price you sell to the consumer. Because you're not going to be able to do major cost-cutting initiatives at this time. It's not like you could go negotiate with a different supplier. It's not like you could switch from UPS to USPS or change your logistics partner. Everybody's fees are going up right now. It is crazy the amount of fees that are going up right now. So you have to raise your prices this year, and I fully expect Amazon to come back and double that fuel surcharge in the next 90 days. Why? Because their fees are also up. Everybody's fees are up. The cost of doing business right now is at a skyrocketing rate at this time. Last month, Amazon was also under fire from flex drivers. These are the people that do like the last mile for delivery. Very similar to seeing those vans in your neighborhood with the Amazon logo on them. Those white vans you see all over the place. Most of those are actually contractors, and they can be paid based on charges based on how often or more frequent packages need to go in and out, or when there's a situation where like there's a lot of packages that have to go up, they increase the rate that they pay the vans to get them out. Well, last month they were protesting the fact that they're not making as much money as they were a year ago with fuel costs going up. Even the Amazon flex drivers have been hit, and Uber and Lyft and many other companies have already added an Amazon surcharge. So it's not surprising that this surcharge is happening. I wouldn't be surprised if in the next 48 hours we see Amazon connect the two things here. They're charging that 5% FBA fuel charge, and then they're going to give back to the drivers a portion of that. And that's how they're going to subsidize the situation. Pulling out my magic crystal ball right now, it's very difficult to predict an economy. If I knew how to do that, I would probably be on an island sipping some margaritas right now. But the fact of the matter is, it's pretty obvious to see what's going to happen later this year. A lot of sellers were overbuying stock and inventory because things were really good, and so they stocked up. I actually many times over the past year and a half said, hey, go buy a year supply of inventory. And if you did that, you were probably better off because you bought it on discount, essentially. It's like betting long on a stock. The longer you have that inventory and the more inflation is, the better off you are because you bought goods instead of leaving your money in cash where it deteriorates very rapidly. The government has printed a lot of money of late. So where did all of this inflation come from? Well, according to the NASDAQ, money printing is the number one cause. There's also inflation coming from other factors like COVID, cryptocurrency, and the ongoing wars. So if you look here and see what those costs made, This chart here shows we've spent more money being printed than the cost of all of the wars combined. The last 13 wars, biggest wars, all combined. We've printed more money in physical currency in the last couple of years. So if you print 20% of the money supply in a year, that causes 20% inflation. And no economist can convince me otherwise. You print money, inflation goes up. It's simple. It's basic supply and demand arithmetic. In 1980, the government changed how it calculates inflation as well. If you use the 1980 guidance for inflation, the rate this year would be over 20%. So that's some perspective there. The government likes to cheat the economic numbers to say they're better than they actually are. I like the title of this article, Why the Fed is Caught in an Inflation Trap. Widely recognized that quantitative easing is a dangerous experiment of magnitude that's never been conducted before. And here is that cycle. So you got the ZIRP, which causes inflation, the end of the ZIRP, which leads to interest rates rising. We've seen that. Bond prices fall, which leads to debt. Stock prices fall, and so what do? Another ZIRP. And that causes inflation, and we repeat the cycle. It's a death spiral right now. And there's no getting out of it because the government and the politicians are not going to make the hard decisions anytime soon to correct the course of action. All right, so that's my government rant plus the gas price surcharge that everybody's going to be affected by with that 5%. I think that's the beginning of many more surcharges that Amazon's going to tack on. They literally don't have a choice. Let me know how frustrated you are in the comment section and tell me about what your challenges are. Thanks for watching.